G'day scrappers, just having a bit of a scrap session today, and first up I thought I'd do one of these vintage terminals, the ADM 11. This one's the one that's all busted up anyway, so I thought I'd just have a little look at one of these things inside. These came out about 1983, so 40 years, and just interested to see if there's anything a little bit different than just a regular CRT monitor, I guess, or a terminal. Looks like got screws under here. Yeah, so nice warm day today. Very windy though, but a good day to chill out and scrap. So that's what I'll be doing for most of the day. Just work out how to get into it. There's got to be a trick to it. So yeah, leading up to Christmas and all that, it's still pretty quiet for me. Here we go. Oh yeah, it looks like a pretty good board actually. Yeah, business wise it's been pretty quiet, so it's kind of it's all right for me because it's been a while since I've had a decent break anyway, so I'm not completely on total break, but just going, pretty easy and quiet. And so I figured, might as well not really try and, or not really stress out about not getting much work at the moment, and just taking advantage of it. So here's our board, and there's an Intel 1982 CPU, or some kind of chip anyway. So I dare say these chips would be pretty good for gold recovery. Just have a look at these EPROMs. Well, that's not an EPROM, so... And this one's certainly got gold around it, so a gold EPROM, and these removable ICs should be pretty good. Might look up that chip. We'll check it out. It's just a resistor, the yellow IC looking things. They're resistor networks. They're little bullet tantalum capacitors, MLCCs in the resin there. Yeah, not a bad board actually. And then, we got our little CRT, a little yoke, and we actually got quite a good transformer here, power board. Yeah, pretty interesting. The boards are certainly a lot different to the more, say, the CRT boards from the 90s and so on, where it was mostly power boards. This is obviously, just like a whole logic board. The power board's separate, which is pretty cool. Just not sure how to... there we are. Had to be screws somewhere. Okay. Well, that plastic will go out next week. Alright. So I hope everyone's going alright and everything's good for scrap wise, and just end of the year kind of cabers. They're not really doing much. It's always the first scrap of the day is for me anyway. It's always a little bit rough. Just got to get your mojo going. And yeah, by the end of the day, scrapping like a machine, but end up getting too tired to keep going. Yeah, just doesn't want to let me. There we go. So pretty nice, these old ones. And back in the day they used to just throw all these into landfill really, and you know, a lot of good commodities here, resources, copper, and yeah, that board is will be good for gold recovery. There's an old school transformer. A little power board. So yeah, I've only got one pickup booked for next week. Hopefully I get a few more. I have had quite a few scrappers come in and sell me their boards for the year. Not really, none of the real big scrappers. Usually just a couple $100 worth of stuff. So there's our power board. I'll take off the wire. The rest is you know, pretty straightforward CRT. Tiny little copper yoke. There we go. Hey, it all adds up. We go for it, you know. And there's actually a couple of heat sinks here. Don't think we're gonna. Yeah, I just took in a whole bunch of CRT monitors and flat screen TVs to the transfer station, the recycling centre, and that was all no problem, easy. But cardboard is a real problem. I've got to change up the way I deal with cardboard again, even more, because it actually costs money now to get rid of the cardboard at the transfer station, unless you're a local, and well, they're the closest one to me, and I'm not technically under their council, so yeah. A lot of times when I'm picking up eWaste and stuff, a lot of the clients will stuff there's things into a cardboard box there, and basically they're just trying to get rid of a whole heap of cardboard boxes. And so I try and sort of reduce a little bit of cardboard what I take off them, and just, but now it's going to have to be, look, sorry, I've got to take as little cardboard as possible because I'm doing a free pickup. Obviously if it's a good pickup, well, I'll cover that, but a lot of times just picking up very minimum amounts. And if I'm picking up half a dozen big boxes, I'm taking that away for them. Yeah. If it costs me, well, something's got to give, all right. Let me have a look for the next thing that I'm scrapping. All right, so the next thing I've got here is our classic Sun Microsystems system. It's missing the front cover. Looks like a couple of old hard drives in here. If I can get them out. Can't see what size they are, but just old hard drives. Usually I love my Sun Microsystems stuff. So this is, I'm not really sure what this unit is. Some sort of expansion thing or something. It's not super good, but still, little card straight into mid-grade. Okay, does have a main board here. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's not bad. Sort of nice main board, nice, really nice high-end card there. Some heat sinks there. Good old power supply. All right. Yeah, so there's still crazy times around. I mean, it's just it's a really funny world we're living in, and inflation and prices of everything just going crazy, and and it seems like that virus thingy is kind of coming back a bit, and it's just never ending. But I think we're in for probably it's, you can't predict anything, but who knows what the next year will bring us, and hopefully things pan out around the world, work out, and everyone sort of becomes friends. But yeah, we just got to not forget when we're in the pandemic and that all the things that may have been inconvenience for us, being locked down and all that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that all happened again. I think it'll be a lot harder to convince people this next time around to say, oh, yep, do it all again, go into lockdown. It's a really interesting board. Yeah. So, we just learn from the past, and, people were panicking and panic buying and, fighting over toilet paper and things like that. I think we should, learn from that, and it's always a good idea to have a good stockpile in your pantry of just your basic necessities. And it's the reason why, when people were panic buying, you know, the media, government were all saying, oh, you know, don't go out and stockpile food and toilet paper. You're causing you know, more of a problem, and it kind of did, because everyone went at the same time and all rushed to get the same stuff. Yeah, that's a super high-end board. Well, a really good high-end board. You would throw this into either telecom grade if you got it, or just into laptop motherboards would be another good one that it would go. All right, well, we've got Sun Microsystem exclusive chips, quite a lot here. This board looks like it's going to split in two, but I'll keep it as one. Wouldn't mind seeing what's under this heatsink. And so to not be a drama on everyone else that don't prepare and stockpile food and necessities, do it now. Get it over and done with. You know, even use the post-Christmas sales to take advantage of things put on special, and that way, if we do get into the same situation that we found ourselves in, you're not going to be a problem, you know, like you're not taking people's stuff away, because you already got the stuff and you've bought it during times of good times, so when no one else wanted it, kind of thing. And so that's my idea, is, you know, just to try and maintain a little pantry. I'm just trying to work out. I thought those screws were going to be it, but it looks like I'm going to have to take off these bolts. I just want to see what's under it, so let me find something. Yeah, because I kind of took offence at the media and the government when they were saying, oh, you know, you people that are stockpiling stuff, you know, you're causing the problem. And no, hang on, mate. Us people that were stockpiling done it a long time before any pandemic or lockdown started, so we already had the goods. It was everyone else that didn't. So that's my reasoning, is into stockpiling when things are good, and that way you're not becoming a burden to anyone. You're just buying stock. Okay, yeah. So we did have a CPU under there. So actually, it's obviously a Sun Microsystems CPU, still stuck here. We'll have a look at which one it is. Oh yeah, Ultra Spark 3, but this is a smaller version than, clean up. Yeah, and it's a really nice one. It's a lot of times the logo fades and gets messed up, but yeah, I like this one. This one's actually, yeah, it is a smaller one than the normal Sun Spark 3, Ultra Spark 3. Well, there you go. So we've got a BGA here. It's just got this rubber stuff. There's a flat pack. Yeah, a few more BGAs. This is come off, but in there's gold little pins and contacts. Well, there we go. So it's actually a trick little board. And even though we've got the CPU out, it's still a high-end board. Yeah, definitely go as a server grade. You know, probably telecom, but yeah, let's call it server. Yeah, really nice. And you know, that's why I want to keep this part on it, because if I took this part, this is almost like a mid-grade part, but as a whole, really good. Yeah, that was interesting. All right, let's see what else. All right, here's something a little bit different too. It's an Aristal key telephone system. Now, we love telephone systems like this. Here we can see we're going to have a couple cards maybe. Sometimes they can be really, really good. sometimes some of the commander systems, I've gotten a real vintage one, and it wasn't really that good. Okay, all right, wow, how's that? Just, you know, in a plastic box, and it's just got so much going on, you know, their own brand transformer. And so we've got the 2 tiers of boards. This one here is really barely a mid-grade board because it's got so many little transformers, but interesting. Yeah, so all I was saying before was just as far as stockpiling and you know, just protecting yourself, your supplies and all that. Yeah, it's a good idea. Once Christmas finishes and they start, straight after Christmas, they start having sales, and you know, that's I'll be stocking up a lot more. It's got one removable IC. Not sure if I want to take that off because we would end up as a low-grade board. So at least keep that on. It does have smaller ones, but still not really enough to make it a mid-grade. So we're just gonna probably just get away with it, but probably shouldn't. And so, well, yeah, we'll just see how the world goes during this next year. I think it's going to be telling, certainly going to tell us what direction we're going with the way the world wants us to live. And the same deal here, because so many transformers and stuff, you know, we don't want to really remove any of these chips. Don't know if that's an EEPROM or not. No, just a regular. Since I'm here, get the battery out. And there is a nice flat pack there, but yeah, I might be tempted to take this flat pack, but leave the rest and try and get mid-grade board for it. But this one here is certainly a power board. And let's hope that the Russia-Ukraine thing comes good. That's all over with. Hopefully nothing going down with Taiwan and China, because here in Australia we're a bit too close for that. And it looks like we're going to back them up. So here we got, yeah, just a power board, but this transformer, you know, I'll kind of dismantle most of this, take the transformers, a bit of iron, yeah, extruded alley, and I don't bother even selling power boards or low-grade boards anymore. I break off what I want and then just throw what's left in scrap steel. Just saves me having to hold a whole heap of low-grade boards with very little value. And yeah, but you know, there's a lot of people actually, surprisingly, you know, struggling at the moment, you know, and I even heard the other day that there was one guy or one group, they were going around, you know, helping people out during the pandemic that were, you know, financially struggling, and now those people that were helping the people out are financially struggling themselves and looking for welfare and things like that. So, oh gosh, I hope the economy doesn't, you know, the inflation just doesn't keep growing, and you know, it's not just inflation, it's shrinkflation. Because, you know, you're buying some goods at the grocery store and you think, oh, okay, well, that's kind of maintained the same price. But if you look at it, most likely they've reduced the size, so you get a little bit less, you know. A little bit less cornflakes if they've kept the price the same, and it's just how it goes. One of the Chooky girls are in. What are you doing? Come to say hello to YouTube? Yeah. So I just cleaned this up. It was pretty straightforward scrap, really. Got this transformer. There's nothing to eat. No. Yeah, but there we go. So, barely mid-grade board. You really don't want to remove any of the chips. Really, ideally, cut the board in half. This side is low grade, that side's mid grade, but we'll probably get away with it. Same with that one, very identical. Certainly not, you know, your telecom grade stuff. Heavy power board. And yeah, that wasn't bad. What do you reckon, Chook? Not a bad scrap? Yeah. Hey, this Chook is part of my prep. Because if it stops laying eggs, it becomes roast. No, I don't eat my own chickens. All right, let's have a look, see what else we got out there. So the next thing I'm scrapping are these Cisco 4300 series. I can't remember how good or bad they were. I haven't done this series for a little while. Okay. Oh, it looks pretty empty here, doesn't it? Geez, that's about the lowest grade of Cisco board I've seen in a long time. We'll see if they're all the same or not. There had to be a screw. Okay. Yep, they're identical. Okay, well, goodness. That's just a fan. It's not like it's sitting on top of anything, I don't think. That's obviously the main chip. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. It's just a surface mounted IC chip of some sorts. There's pretty sure there's nothing under this fan. Yeah, it's like a box of chocolates, isn't it? You just don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, there we go, just a fan, had to come off anyway, just a spacer, and yeah, sure enough, it's just a place to blow cool air into the system. Here, obviously, they put cards of some sort in there, but there's no cards that slot into here, no cards, and that's all this board is. And it's a really hard board to even grade. I mean, obviously mid-grade, but you know, it's a telecom type of system. It's never going to be telecom, but I'm just debating whether, well, there is a BGA under here as well, so take that off just to bring up the grade a little bit by removing a bit of aluminium and the battery. Reveals another good chip, so yeah, we might be able to get away with, you know, just being server grade, but certainly nowhere near telecom and barely server grade. But it does have, you know, at least it's got a good BGA under there and another one there, all the memory BGAs. Yeah, really interesting that. How's that? Didn't know. I expected something a little bit more. No doubt the cards would have probably been the best item of the lot. Oh well, I've got to process them, so at least I'm getting rid of them. But you know, for some guys, they buy e-waste to scrap for gold recovery and that. So this is one series you certainly don't want to buy if that's what you do. Free is always best. Yeah, I also think that the price of copper is probably gonna, I got a feeling that copper is going to go to another level. It's not going to go down. And yeah, I think once everything starts coming good in China again, and they don't have their lockdowns and so on, and they get back into little BGAs there. So yeah, we'll definitely get server grade. But yeah, once China get back into normal production and business, I think, I mean, if copper held on to this point, knowing that, you know, China dropped a lot in manufacturing and all that kind of thing, I would have really, in different times, in different years, I would have expected copper to take a hit, but it hasn't. And yeah, quite amazing. So to me, that just suggests that copper could well, you know, go up again. You know, if you remember back 3 years ago, copper was less than half the price it is now. And you know, some guys might say, oh, but my scrapyard doesn't pay, you know, but it's I'm not really talking about, well, I am talking about scrapyard prices, but it's just the actual copper price, the market price, you know, around the whole world. So there's no secret as to, copper is like gold in a way. Price is universal. Here I've just got a UPS, probably the most common UPSs going out there, and this one's an Eaton. But yeah, I've probably got half a dozen of these UPSs and that I need to catch up on, and they're pretty straightforward. They just take up a lot of space until you scrap them out. But basically we've got 2 batteries, our huge transformer and a power board. That's pretty much all you get. And so they're very straightforward. For me, there's no real reason why I let them accumulate, but I just got a whole bunch of them all, you know, pretty much all at the same time. So it was just a coincidence that every place I went to were giving me the same stuff. Okay, so obviously, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the electronic side of it, we obviously want to get out the batteries, disconnect the batteries, so at least we you know, remove most of the power source. And you do get good thick insulated wire as well, so you know, it adds weight to your stack. But here's our 2 batteries, and they're well and truly spent, stuck together too. So put them with batteries. And yeah, really straightforward to scrap these things. It's just a matter of a few screws here and there, and kind of want to just dismantle as much. But after you scrap them, you actually get more volume, because see, these are you know, complete sort of piece, so they do take up a lot of room even as scrap plastic. But next week my plastic all goes out, so good time to scrap these off and finish them off. But here's our transformer. As you can see, they do put a massive transformer in there. I've already got so many of these stashed away, nice ones. I don't bother anymore. There you go, scrap. Put them in transformers and motors. Awesome. All right. I'll just cut out a couple of wires. Yeah, so, you know, copper. It might be a, you know, insulated copper as well, I suppose, but if you're not needing to cash up anytime soon, I would hold on to my copper product for a while till, you know, a third of a way into 2023 and seeing how it goes, because yeah, I just got a feeling it's just going to go up once, like I said, once things pick up and manufacturing across the world starts moving. I just think, you know, don't be surprised if copper sort of shoots up another 50% or something like that. And so if you've got a decent stockpile of it, you know, it could, you know, be the difference to many hundreds of dollars, or for some thousands of dollars. So I can't see it going down, especially if manufacturing picks up. So even if it stays the same, you really got nothing to lose, but it's a nice speculation. So yeah, with these power boards, like I said, I don't buy power boards like this anymore. For me, I prefer to just break off a bit of aluminium and transformers and throw the rest into scrap steel. But I always take the IC chips. So there's one decent size IC, and obviously it's worth a lot more as an IC as it is obviously on the board. So that was our power board, that's our transformer, and some nice wire and our 2 batteries. Well, that was interesting too. Well, I do have quite a few that I've got to get through, but that's about it. I do have a lot of these things. It's the second time around I've got a pretty big batch. Most of them were blue. These are NEC ones. They're a real pain, you know, because when I'm picking them up, they take up so much space in the van. There's a lot of plastic, but there's only one circuit board in there. So if I can, this one's a little bit different. I'm just trying to work out. Oh, there's one side, just plastic. But again, this stuff all has to go next week. There we go. So heaps of chunky plastic, and all we get here is a little power board. And this one, well, this one is actually not a very, it's okay, but it's not a very good example. Some of these boards have been really quite good. This is just barely a mid-grade again. A lot of little transformers, very few IC chips, barely makes it. But we do have some cards here, and it looks like might be a bit of RAM. Yeah. So here's our main logic board, I suppose. Got the battery, BGA there, another little daughter card on top, and yep, Ethernet, and here's our little RAM stick. So, well, we've got a bonus little RAM. Yeah, so it's not too bad, but this board is just a mid-grade board either way, and but still a decent weight. And then this one there, it's very debatable whether it's mid-grade or just low-grade, because geez, there's just not much on here. And a power board, but yeah, it can fill up a quarter of a van of these things, and you're really not getting much value. You're just getting rid of a lot of plastic. But, you know, I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing out anyway. So there's our power board, and again I'll take off the copper spools. Right, I'll probably throw in this capacitor into iron alley. These two pieces, if they don't clean up easy enough, iron alley, otherwise clean them up for extruded alley. Transformer, bit of wire, more iron alley. And at the end, once you've taken all those things off, yeah, just throw it into scrap steel and it'll get processed and recycled. Yeah, other side, nothing. Yeah, again, it's just one of those boards. We'll get away with it because we balance our whole mid-grade batch out. Like this is a low mid, quite a low mid, whereas this one is a high mid or a higher grade board. So if we throw them all into mid-grade, sure, if all I had was these, then yeah, it would depend on my buyer. We might have to meet halfway, but because if I throw this into mid-grade and throw this into mid-grade, they can say, okay, well this one is, you know, quite low, and yeah, but this one is quite a higher one, so okay, balances out. And that's the way I've always done it. And when I buy boards, you know, because I did used to have a high grade and a mid grade, but ended up just paying high grade for both. We used to call high grade was if it's got a gold corner BGA chip on it, we'll put it into high grade. So a lot of modems went into high grade, but it just got too confusing, so ended up just saying I pay high grade for everything and just, you know, including the mid grade. Well, my battery goes flat as usual, but the last thing I just wanted to scrap out for today are a couple of these Cisco phone systems. Now, this is the 7000 series Cisco, which is a very common one that we're picking up from eWaste recycling these days. Unfortunately, they don't have a very good secondary market value anymore. Even we're talking overseas and all that. The 7000 series still good, but yeah, just no real secondary market. This is actually my first 8000 series Cisco phone. You know, other recyclers are getting these in droves as well, but the 8000 series Cisco phone has still got a market value. I've only got one, so I'm going to scrap it out because I have to have a look and see what's inside. But yeah, so if you are picking up eWaste as a business, 8000 series definitely secondary market. 7000 series very hard these days, although there are you know, like here in Australia there is, I know of one buyer that still wants these. They don't pay much, so it's not even worth stockpiling to ship them interstate. But the 8000 series, no problem. You know, often when we're picking up phones, you know, you can pick up 50 to 100 phones at one time. So, yeah, like I said, unfortunately with the 7000 series, we've just got to scrap them out. Some bigger recyclers, they won't scrap them out, they'll just shred them. Well, they'll sell them for what they are, because IP phones generally have a good scrap value as opposed to just regular phones. So you're always getting there's a good board in an IP phone, and Cisco are no exception. So I'll just get this board out, and so here's our 8000 series, oh sorry, 7000 series. There's still not a lot. There will be a chip underneath this shield. I don't bother taking them off. There's one gold band crystal, but they're a higher grade board, and so therefore that's why You can sell IP phones to a good recycler. They should have a price for them. Me personally, I just scrap them for this mid-grade peripheral board. You've got to kind of take off this screen though, and I'll pinch the little gold band crystal. And there's a little bit of gold fingers here as well. You could probably pinch off. It's not going to devalue the board. So that's what a 7000 series Cisco phone board looks like. Sometimes they can be a little bit better. They could have a BGA as well. But this is the one that interests me. And I think, yeah, just to slow everything down, good on them. It's not only a Torx, but it's a security Torx. So I'm going to have to see if I got something there. Okay. I'm going to be able to get to some of them, but really hard when you don't have organisation. Like me, everything's a mess. I can't find the right tool at the right time. I need the extension one to get into the deep ones, but all right, that's okay. I can kind of break into it, I think. All right, we just want to see the board, really, that's all. It might let us through. I haven't done all the screws. Bit of elbow grease, I think. Okay, so straight up with the security Torx, for most people they're going to be a lot harder to obviously get into, but this is what we want. We just want to see what the board is like in comparison to the 7000. All right, so that will be just the LCD. Oh no, the button tactile switches. So there we go. So that's the 8000 series, and you can see why you know, you're much better off selling 8000 series as opposed to 7000. We've really got no choice. We scrap them out. I mean, you know, it's a decent size board, a bit of weight there. This is a lot less. It does have a couple of BGAs, Broadcom ones, 3 of them, but it's still just a mid-grade board, so losing value, probably almost half in scrap value. So yeah, I mean, but still 8000 series I'll definitely be selling. If I can't, once these 8000 series go out of date and they bring out a 9000 series, I'll just end up selling the complete phone as a scrap IP phone, as opposed to wasting time trying to get this board out using Torx and all that. But the 7000 series I don't have any problem scrapping out, because you do get a heavier board, and what I want is the gold band crystal oscillator for my bonus, and even some gold fingers. Not that they're the best, but they're still okay. All adds up. Oh well, that's all for now, I think. Got quite a few other little bits and pieces to scrap. What I wanted to actually do was scrap out a bunch of vintage laptops, because you know, I've gone through some of my vintage laptops, and I do have a lot of double ups. So I figured, well, I don't want double ups. I keep the best ones for myself, and yeah, I might just scrap a few vintage laptops out in the next video, just for a bit of fun and just to reminisce how they used to make laptops back in the day, you know, real chunky, and you know, the old satellite pros and the compacts and all that. Yeah, they're quite interesting, tedious to scrap, but quite interesting actually. So yeah, that's what I might do in the next video, scrap out a whole bunch of or you know, 3 or 4 vintage laptops, and yeah, just see how we go. Keep scrapping, guys, have fun, and I'll catch you next one.